Hello everyone, welcome back to Coding with Carl. This is the Zero to Android show, the show where we slap Java in the face and tell it that we will succeed. This is, as I said, I think this is episode 26. We are currently moving into the third hour of a marathon session on Twitch, and we've got good momentum. We are plowing through. So for those of you who are just joining the stream now, if you've missed any of the back episodes of the show, you want to know what the hell happened in the last 2 hours, you'll be able to catch up by going to the Coding with Carl channel on YouTube, looking for the Zero to Android playlist, and enjoying the past. I recommend doing that at 2 times speed. YouTube has a feature now where you can speed up the videos, and sometimes things can get a little bit slow if I get stuck, or if I'm thinking or reading documentation. And it's kind of cool to watch someone bash code out at double the speed that seems humanly possible. Yeah, so also we have currently a poll running for on 99 Designs for the logo and the icon that we're going to use in the finished version of this app. The link to it is down in the channel feed if you have a look down here, if you're watching on Twitch now. I would be very grateful if you would participate, just to give me an idea of what you think the icon for this app should look like, and you know, the overall look and feel, where we should go with it. Okay, so what are we building? We are building an app that allows you to be more focused and pursue your goals with in a more methodical manner. And that kind of brings me to a question that somebody's asked me privately, and I hope they don't mind me answering this live on stream. But yeah, I got a whisper on Twitch a minute ago, and it says, this may be irrelevant to what you're doing, but how do you keep yourself motivated for long hours? I'm just a junior programmer and I find it hard to focus long hours. Any tips for junior devs who started learning? Yeah, actually, I have quite a lot to say on the subject, because I live quite a privileged life due to the fact that I managed to create or co-create a rather large marketing platform, and in order to do that I had to work very, very long hours. When we were building the app, I worked something like 12 to 14 hours a day, solid coding, and it was a lot of hard work, a lot of sweat and a lot of tears. And the way I did it was to learn how to stimulate the reward center of my brain. This is why you've seen achievements all over the place now on PlayStation and everything. It triggers a little reward in your brain that releases a hormone that makes you feel good. And you can actually do that yourself. And the way I do it is I keep a task list. I always break down what I'm doing into a series of smaller tasks, things that are achievable within an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And I relentlessly pursue those tasks, and I make sure that it's like clearly defined, the start and end. Like what I'm working towards now is re-rendering this slot list. And once that's done, my brain will get a big rush and I'll feel like I'm on top of the world because I completed a task. So try not to look at the project as a whole as the task. Try and break it down into things that you know that you can fit within your concentration span. And over time, your concentration span will grow and it'll get bigger, and you'll be able to work for longer periods of time before you get that reward. And that's how I do it in a nutshell. And also, yeah, I guess this app is kind of an extension of that, because it's gonna be like, okay, I want to learn Java, and that's really open-ended, not clearly defined at all. Breaking it down into tasks makes it a lot easier, and then being able to look at the goal as a whole, and it's saying, yeah, okay, Carl, you've spent 1,000 hours learning Java, and I guess I'm kind of already doing that because I know that this is the 26th hour I've spent learning it. Gives you another little reward, doesn't it? Yeah, and you know, motivation and determination are the key to success in all things, I think. So yeah, I hope that answers your question to your satisfaction. Let's stop waffling and start coding and get that reward. The task for this stream and for the next hour is to render our new slot list. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. We'll jump straight in here. This is where I'm creating the fragment. And this unbound view holder, what should I call it? Method Yeah, starting to get code fatigue now. You'll notice I'm starting to lose the ability to find the words. This is missing, and that's because it should probably be this .slot item. Current item. What's the problem there? Cannot resolve symbol. Ah, okay. Yeah, it's a planner rec adapter. .slot item. Current item. Yeah, this method is called every time it wants to bind data to a view. Every single one of these list items is a view, and it's called a recycler view because it recycles them. The ones that are off screen now can be reused further down, so it saves on memory usage. And because of that, we have to be very careful with what we do with them. So yeah, holder.let's set label. We have the label in all cases, right? So we don't have to worry about that. We know that there's going to be something in label because we always made sure, whether we use the small constructor here or the big one here, we always had a label. A bit worried that that isn't being populated. Let's just check that. Where do we create them? We create one here. So that's fine, and fill the gap, that creates one as well. Yeah, that should be okay. Fingers crossed. So yeah, there we have the label there. All this is fine. This is fine. Is it fine? Do we need this? So let's have a look at what this this previous invocation of this method did. And I say previous, I should say present. Time now, current half hour TS is current half hour. So we're using those things to figure out if the thing that we are rendering right now, the slot that we are rendering right now, falls within the current half hour in real time. I'm going to leave that in for now, I think. Yeah, so that tells us whether the slot that we're looking at right now, the slot entry, and that hasn't broken, that's fine. So we don't need to do any of this anymore because we've already done it. What we need to do instead is iterate over our slot list. And we are already doing an iteration, I believe. So slot entries was the database data, and that's what we were iterating over before. Yeah, so it's going to be slightly different because what we need to find out is, okay, so this, yeah, so we iterated over the okay, that isn't the part that creates the view. This is the part that created the view. This, the view holder, item view. This is where we did all the cool stuff. Task name, goal name, container. Did we set label? We set, actually, yeah, we do set all this in on bind data, of course we do. Yeah, okay. Just trying to get my head around where we were. So let's have a think about what we need to do. This iterates over a DB cursor, detects whether or not this list item, let's use a block comment, that's the smart thing to do. This list item matches the current iteration, and if it does, binds the data. What I'm thinking now is, do we need to iterate here? Because we have position, and we should just be able to grab the position because the slot list, yeah, I don't think we need to iterate anymore. Let's comment it all out. And the position should actually tell us so we have the current item and the position. Right, so slot list.getPosition, current item. So maybe this is a hell of a lot easier now because we can do all of this right here. We don't need to do anything else, do we? The only thing that we'll need to do yeah, actually, we have made our... Do you have nose bleeding? I don't know, do I? I hope not. Although it would be kind of cool if I'd made my nose bleed by coding too hard, wouldn't it? No, I just have a runny nose, unfortunately. Okay. What do we do? What do we do here? We this is the kind of stuff that we do. So this happens regardless of whether or not... What's the else? The else sets everything back to default. So we're just going to assume that we found it because we have. Right. And then we're going to bang this up here instead. Okay, so now we've got set text color occupied. Well, that's going to be based on whether it's occupied or not, right? So we know whether it's occupied or not based on whether it has a MAGG. What do we have here? We have a label and timestamp. They are always that way. If slot size is 0, then we know it's not occupied. So yeah, so we'll do if current item dot slot size is not equal to 0 or is more than 0. Do this stuff. Right? Yeah. Don't need that break statement. So we set the label text color to that. Task name set text. That's going to be current item. See in here. Current item dot task name. Set it to the occupied color. Goal name is going to be, yeah, we know that because we can check if the string is equal to current item dot goal name is equal to an empty string. See in here, and that's going to be current item dot goal name. Is current half hour, we've got that right there, so that's fine. And is occupied is true in that case. Else, we will pull out the rest of the stuff. Nearly swore then. We'll pull out the rest of the stuff from here. We can do all of that. Set text, set color. So there's nothing there. Now color is occupied false. Okay, so that's, if I'm right, everything else in that commented block is useless. But we seem to have a syntax error. Right there. Okay, if this works, guys, I will be amazed. Don't need that comment. We do have some errors left, so let's work our way through them. here, planner fragment. This is not planner fragment. This is planner rec adapter dot slot item. That fixes that one. And that is all the red errors gone. But we do have a bunch of yellow ones. Access can be package private. Okay, I don't even know what package private is, and task name there is capitalized. I don't want it to be. This one, access can be package private, ask blah blah blah. Get data instance. So I may have a problem with including the wrong. Okay, so string values are compared using equals equals not equals. Right, so how do I do that then? Dot equals. Can I do that? Not sure. What's this new error? It's not there. Wow, okay, that was quick. And that makes me feel uneasy because I felt like that should have been a hell of a lot more work than that. I think it's time. It is time to run the app, see what we forgot, see what breaks, and keep our fingers crossed. Let's do it. Look at that, guys. Did we expect anything else? No. White screen of death. What's on the log cap? Nothing. Okay. Why is it doing this? Let's run it in debug and find out. Okay, so we're coming in. We know that that cursor might have something in it. It does. So we... Oh no, we never rage quit. No, we just dog it. We dog it down. So start timestamp. Let's just check that that's a sane value. Epoch converter. That is Wednesday my time, midnight. So yeah, that looks good because it is Wednesday. Yeah, that looks fine. What next? What happens next? We jump down here. We get the row timestamp. The row timestamp is here. That's at 9 PM, which means we need to backfill right up to 9 PM, which is going to be 17 slots, I think. Okay, so next, slots to backfill. What does that come back with? 42. 9 PM would be 2100. 21 times 2 is 42. So yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's my mental math that failed there. I'm glad that comes back. Right. Okay, so it gives us 42 slots to backfill. Is that right? It's not, is it? Because it needs to be -1. Do we do that -1? I know we did that -1 somewhere. Where did we do it? We did 23.5 there, didn't we? So yeah, I think that's the first thing. It wants to backfill too many. Because to get us to 2100, we only need to go up to 2030. And that would be 41 slots. Yeah, I'm going to put -1 in there. And then start the debugger again. Where are we? We're back. Skip over a few. Yeah, so now we've got 41 to backfill. And then we're going to go to fill the gap. Slot list is size 0 at this point. We're going to step into fill the gap and see what's going on. So from 0 to 41, we create the new timestamp here would be 0 there. So that should create as a slot at midnight. All right, let's check that just to be sure. Wednesday at midnight, everything good so far. Step over. Right, so then we add that new slot, new item there, should have a label of 00, it does. And we add it to slot list. All right, so let's step out of here now. And we can see that the slot list is populated with 41 slots. The labels seem to be good, and that should take us up to 2030. No, it takes us up to 20. So I was wrong. I was wrong with the -1. The -1 is no good. Okay. Okay, let's jump down to where we were then. We were there. Okay, slot list is now 42, and 41 should give us 2030. It does, right. I'm happy with that because we know that this one that we're trying to create now should be for 2100. Okay, next. And then if we check our slot list after this edition, it should now be size 43, which it is. And the 42nd one is 2100. It has the task name, it has the goal name, and it has the slot size of 2. So the next one that we populate should be 2200. Let's go. Move to next. There isn't a next, there's only one. So the last created timestamp should be, oh, look at that. The last created timestamp is a minus number. How did that happen? That's the line there. That line right there. That is all wrong. So the last created timestamp is the start timestamp. We add to it the row timestamp of the thing we just created plus 30 times 60. So that's 30 times 60 seconds times the row slot size -1, and therein lies the problem. If the row slot size is 2, hang on. No, that's fine, isn't it? So 30 times 60 is 1800. Is it? It is. 1800 times, how much do we advance it by? 1800 times the slot size. I feel like that's right, but it's given as a minus number. Yeah, it's -1ing somewhere, isn't it? So row slot size, that went through okay. I want to step back. I wish I could step back. I can't, so we're just going to have to run it again. I'm really glad I figured out how to use the debugger in Android Studio, because without it, I would have spent much more time scratching my head. And filling out log entries is not the way to do things, guys. Don't copy me. Okay, this is the baby right here. Row timestamp. Row timestamp is sane. Plus 30 times 60. So let's do the math in JavaScript. I know that's not a great idea, but it is quick. Node. Start equals this. And we'll do start plus 30 times 60. And then that's times 2 minus 1, so it's times 1. That's what we should have come out with. Row slot size here is 2. Last created timestamp is sane. It's minus, it's plus the difference between them. What we're probably, no, we can't be getting an overflow error, surely. Yeah, we're getting an overflow error, I think, because it's plus equals. So it should be what we want to say here is it's equal, it's plus the difference between them. So it's going to be, we want the difference, and is that diff seconds? We need a new diff seconds, don't we? So it's the last created timestamp. So it's actually row timestamp minus last created timestamp plus that, I think, and that should give us if we were doing plus equals, am I right? So what I'm saying here is last created timestamp, add to last created timestamp the difference between the row timestamp and the last created timestamp plus, no, what am I doing? I'm talking utter garbage, aren't I? So it's actually, yeah, it shouldn't be plus equals. You're right. You are absolutely right, Hertz3H. I think equals is the answer. It is, yeah. That should yield a more sensible result. Step over, step over, step over, step over, step over, step over. And we actually have another breakpoint here, so I could have just gone straight to it. There. Yeah, and I feel like now, if we step over this line, that should have given us, let's check that, let's check last created timestamp. 9:30 PM. That's great. Okay. If we resume the program, does it render? Or should we carry on debugging and check it out? So that is it's a slot. It means that the next one we populate should be 10. Should be 10 o'clock. Because it was at 9 o'clock and it was a slot size 2. So what do we have now? We have diff seconds. And the diff seconds is 7200. That's the amount. So the slots to backfill. And we're backfilling from midnight now, so it should be from 10 to midnight. That's 4, isn't it? It's 4 slots to backfill. 4. Great. Okay, so that got us there. Let's just resume and see what happens. Okay, so we're still not rendering. Have we stopped again? We have. All right. So I'm doing that 3 times. There we go. But it's not rendered correctly, has it? Because we've still got 2130 here. Let's stop, run the app, figure out what's going on. Okay, so this is where we are now, 2200. This 2130 should not exist. So I'm very confused as to why it does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my breakpoints. I'm going to set a new one here. And run the app again. Okay, so what we have then is a slot list, size 43. Let's check this. That's 930. What do we want? What was it? It was 41, wasn't it? Goal name nothing. Where is that slot? 1930, 20 o'clock, 2030. 42 then is this one, and this has a slot size of 2. So the next thing we render should be 2100. Let's step in to fill the gap here, and we should be starting at 10 o'clock. Start timestamp here, copy value, $9:30. So maybe that's the problem. Because this was 9 until 10, we should have done this, and should that -1 be there then? Have I already removed that once? No, it should be there. Or should it? That -1 should not be there. I'm almost sure of it, because what we're doing is we're saying it's the row timestamp plus 1 slot, if it's 1. Yeah, it should never be 0. It should never advance by 0. That -1 should not be there. Yeah, great. So now we can render things that have a slot size of more than 1. So if I decide to do something tomorrow at 9:30, let's say I'm going to code hard for 2 hours to become the Iron Fist of code, then it should go from 9:30 to 11:30. We have succeeded. We have succeeded in our task. This makes me very happy. So the reward center of my brain, as I was saying at the start of the stream, is now screaming out with happiness, doing cartwheels and, you know, having a party. And it's just like eating cheesecake. That's just what it feels like. And that's how you stay motivated. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want this list item to be, if it's 2 hours, I want it to be 4 times the size. Well, 4 times the size that it normally would be? Yes, 4 times the size. How do I do that? I go back to the place where I'm rendering it, and I hope that I can set the size of it. What I need to remember to do, because the view for that item can get recycled, is make sure that I set it back to the normal size. If not, So, okay, so we know if it's occupied, right? If the slot size is more than 0, it's occupied. So can I do like holder dot height, set height? I can't. Can I do, oh no, because the holder isn't a view. Holder dot container, perhaps. Dot set height. I can do get height, but I can't seem to set the height, which is a bummer. That kind of kills my vibe a little bit. Android Studio. Android set view height programmatically. Android throws an exception if you miss to pass either height or width of a layout. Be sure to use the parent layout's layout params. Mine is linear layout params. Get layout params. Params.height equals customs height. Layout.request layout. Well, it is a view group. I guess we can try it. First of all, we only need to do this if the slot size is current item dot slot size is more than 1. So I guess we do something like container holder dot container dot set layout params, and then layout params layout new linear layout params fill parent the size I want. Oh god, this looks better to me. This looks like more sensible. So view group dot layout params there. Params equals holder dot container dot get layout params. Layout params, sorry, just params dot height. It's 3 times the size I want it to be, right? So but then how do I set it back? I have to use some tricky ass math. Params.height is 3 times what it needs to be, so plus equals, I'm going to do a -1 thing here, I may be wrong, plus equals params.height, or shall I just say equals, stop trying to be clever with that, equals params height times the slot size, so it'd be times 1, yeah, that'll work, I think. Current item dot slot size. Right. The problem is it's going to be very hard to come back from that. Okay, so I don't need that anymore. What I need to do is layout dot request layout. Where's layout? Oh, okay. So holder dot container dot request layout. What an odd name for a function. If that does what I think it does, then it's a very odd name for it. Let's see if it works. We're going to get some weird recycler view issues where the view gets recycled and some of them will be twice the size they need to be. Doesn't work, does it? Clearly didn't work. Because that 2100 should have been twice the size if that was the case. And I had that mass session there, didn't I, between... Yeah, that should have been like 3 times the size. Android is blowing my mind right now. Let's see if anyone else has had the exact same problem as me. So Android, setting the height of a recycler view item programmatically. Look at this. Someone had the exact same issue. Linear layout params, wrap content, params.height. Set layout params. Okay. Let's try that. Still nothing. Still nothing. Let's debug. Do I have any other breakpoints open? Don't think so. Debug. Ah, we do. Here we are. Step over. Params.height equals -4. What is in params? That will have changed now, won't it? Top margin height equals -4. Width equals -1. Okay, so we kind of screwed that up, didn't we? Int initial height. Well, let's just do like params there. Well, in fact, let's just do the smart thing. And check params there when it breaks. Yeah. Where's my other breakpoint? Here. I want to get rid of that one because I know that that is cool. We're cool with that one. That's fine. What did I just do? I only wanted to save. There we go. Run it again. Debugging is always the slowest part of the show. But it's like a mystery. It's like CSI. Just less dramatic and with less slow motion graphics. Okay, so we should have params now. Params are there. Height, -2. So the height, by default, is -2. What am I supposed to do with that? Seems like height is not set yet. I would agree with that. There should be some way of me like informing it that I want the size of it to increase, surely. Do I need to do like the request layout first? What does request layout do? Linear layout manager. Request layout. That's not actually part of this. Oh, there it is. Layout Manager can call this method to force Recycler View to run simple animations in the next layout pass, even if there is not a trigger to do so. Note that calling this method will not guarantee that Recycler View will run animations at all. For example, if there is any item animator set, it will not run any animations, but will still clear this flag after the layout is complete. Okay, not the answer I was looking for. How to set height on onbind, right. Onbind view holder, that is where we are, right? Yes, it is. Linear layout params, new linear layout params, wrap content, set the height, and then set the layout params. So that's like, I don't want to hard code the height. I feel like that's a really bad idea. But I guess for the purposes of testing, it might make sense to do that. Okay, yeah. Fine, we will do something like params.height equals 1000. Just to see if it'll work. It does. It does indeed work. The problem we've got is that we don't know what the default size of these items is. You can see it recycling there. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. I'd love to know what the default size is, and I don't suppose my layout's going to tell me, is it? It's a list item, slot list item, I think it is. Yeah. Like the height and the width, a match parent, and wrap content. So like getting a default value for that is going to be really tricky, isn't it? Apparently there is a function to measure the view height, Hertz 3H, that would be amazing. Can't you store the default value, then hardcode a new height? And yes, I could if I knew how to get the default value, but the default value when at the time I'm running it is -4. And I'm guessing that's because it hasn't yet been populated. So I'd need to force one to render, then measure the height, or I could just say, look, this is the height, deal with it. But then isn't that going to cause like a hell of a lot of problems when I'm moving from different devices? And yeah, it's not great, is it? I guess we could just be kind of hacky and say and hard code it into here, so we could have like I really don't like doing this, guys. I really don't want to do this, but I think it may be all we can do for tonight. Private list item height equals, let's start with like 250, or let's start with something that makes more sense, like 256, and then that's going to be private static. No, it's not static at all, it's just private final and list item height, and it's an integer. Yeah, and then let's jump back to where we were. It wasn't here, was it? No. Yes, it was. And then we can do this then. Equals not params.height, but instead this dot list item height times current item dot slot size. Otherwise, we will set it to Oh, we already know that. Yeah, so that's going to happen regardless. And this one, see, I don't actually think that, yeah, it is. Yeah, because slot size is going to be 0. And if it's 0, we want it to be something different. So let's grab those 3 lines, bang them down here, and do that same bit of code. Slot size, that's going to be, it's just going to be actually just be list item height, so we don't need to do anything there. Okay, let's see what that yields. Probably going to get a timeout for this. How to get the height of a recycler view's item on bind view holder. The height of a recycler view is not fixed. I need to set the background image for every item, so I always want to get the item with the recycler view's height. Okay, so sure, measure the view manually. View.measure. Oh, wow, that's nasty, isn't it? Whew. Only after it has been measured. The measuring itself will automatically happen by the system when the view is about to be displayed on the screen. Whew. When Android wants to display the layout, it will recursively call the view.layout function for each item in the tree. Each parent tells its children the constraints they have. Wow, you know what? I'm probably going to do that, but not tonight. Yeah. Yeah, that is vile, isn't it? If that's the only way we've got to do it, then we're going to have to do it at some point. We're not going to do that tonight. We'll probably do it on the next stream. Okay, so this is looking more like it, even though the sizes are off now. I think 256 is too big. Yeah, 256 has made things look really ugly. So let's try 128. I think, can it be half the size of that? Maybe not. Let's try like 180 maybe. Okay, that kind of looks more like where we had it before. I think what I want to do is probably tart this up a bit, because I like the this task name and this crazy icon that we're using to be up in the top corner, just to keep things uniform, and then I'll keep the goal name at the bottom, I think. So let's jump back into our slot list item code and figure out what's going on there. Zoom right in. I want to constrain, so this is constrained to the top, right? Where's the constraint? So we've got a constraint on that, and this. I want that to be constrained to the top as well, right? And then this, I want to break that constraint and put that constraint on here. And I want to like get rid of that maybe. Why have I got this massive overhang at the bottom? So that's 8 from the top. This is, let's make that should be 8 from the top as well. Let's break that constraint. Let's run that. Okay, so that's made it even worse. Let's remove this constraint from the bottom and try doing that instead. So we constrain that on the top and the left. This we want to constrain on the left and the top, and then this I want to constrain on the bottom of this and to the left of this. So the padding for both of those on the left should be 16. I feel like this, that's why I need to break that one there. Yeah. Okay, save. Run that again. Okay, I prefer that. I think that looks better. And I want to break that top constraint there so that this just sits at the bottom. But I do kind of want it to have some padding. How do I do that? I think I want to say that this is constrained to the top of here, and I want to give it at least 24, let's say 32 then. Okay, let's say 46, just to push it down that bit. And I wish I could measure that in here. Do I want it to be 46 or will 32 suffice? I think 32 will be fine. Yeah, it's still leaving this big ugly gap though, isn't it? Yeah. I want it to be like at least 32. I don't want to be exactly 32. I think maybe I just need to make the whole... Yeah, that might work actually because I've set the height programmatically, so let's try that. Yeah. Yeah, that looks okay. I think I need to add... That bottom looks... Yeah, that needs to be... Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool. So now our 4-hour slot, yeah, sorry, 4 slots. That's cool. Really cool. What would be really nice is if I knew how to put rounded corners on this, but let's not get too adventurous, right? We are coming up to the end of the 3rd hour of this stream, and I'm really happy with the progress that we've made because we've managed to defeat in one night what I thought was going to be an absolute nightmare. And I'm just going to just make sure that nothing's recycling in a dodgy way, and it's not. So Friday at 7:30 I'm going to code hard for like 5 hours, except become the Iron Fist of Code, and look at that, a beautiful big block of 5 hours is taken up. Really, really happy. Great progress. Cool. So if anyone's got any questions, guys, about the things we have done tonight, and I'll accept questions on the whole of the last 3 hours, put them in the chat now, and I will do my best to answer them in a charming and witty fashion, even though I am fatigued and overstimulated. Let's have a look at our to-do list. Slot size. By the end of episode 26, we have conquered that beast. We are getting rid of it. Which means that next time we have a choice of things to do. We could either do CRUD, which is pretty important, the DST switch fix. I guess that's a bug, so I want to put those down there, and I think that CRUD is like really important. Starting reminder, pre-fill tasks. I think that's important too. Pre-fill tasks is probably more important than that. And they're bugs, slots invested in goal, hours invested in each goal, that's fine. So yeah, I think the next thing we'll do will be, you know, removing or deleting slots or moving them to different things. And I'm really happy that we can finally get rid of this slot size thing that's been looming over us. Very productive night. So, doesn't look as if you guys have got any questions. So let's check everything into version control. And I thought this was episode 26. Oh, of course, I didn't check everything in at the end of the last episode because it was extremely broken. So end of episode 26. Slot size is done. And we've managed to render bigger blocks in the recycler view where we have large slots. Commit. Yeah, I wish it had stopped doing that. Right. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me, and thank you for the people that have been here for the whole 3 hours. It's been fun. As I said, if you've missed any of the stream before, you want to catch up, I do have a YouTube channel. Please feel free to come and watch these videos back on Zero to Android playlist. You know, subscribe, drop me a like. Follow me on Twitch. I'll be back here on weeknights, usually weeknights at 7:30 UK time, and on Fridays a little bit earlier. I do 5:30 UK time. Also, don't forget that we have the competition running on 99 Designs, the poll. Where is that? It's not here. 99 Designs. Yep, I have a bunch of icons and logos for this application, and it's my job to pick one, pick a winner, and I would like your guys' vote on it. And the link for the poll is down in the channel feed if you're watching on Twitch, or it will be in the comments section of the video if you're watching this on YouTube. So once again, thank you for joining me. Code and have fun. Don't be intimidated by Java, and I hope I'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Good night. Bye.